Hello, all, and welcome back to a new episode of Movies and Us, a weekly gathering place filled with conversations about movies, stories, and connection. My name is Jennifer Hahn.
And I'm Sarah Callan.
And today we are going to be reviewing the first Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl words today. And we are joined by two very special guests, dear friends of the pod, Britt and Hanna. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Absolutely. I'll go first. Hi, I'm Britt. I've been on a couple other episodes, Nosferatu, The Witch, and Fall Guy. I am one of the I'm one of the three co-hosts of 1001 by 1. The other two being the wonderful Joey and Adam, where we take films out of the book 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. We analyze them, we discuss them, and we decide whether or not we think they should be in the book. This is our third season together as a crew, and I think it's the 6th season overall, but I never pay attention to that kind of stuff, so who knows? And thank you for inviting me back for this episode. I'm so excited.
This will be a fun one. Hanna?
Yeah, I'm Hanna. I have a podcast with my husband, Matt Hanna. So we are called Horror Hour with the Hannas, where we review, surprise, surprise, horror movies. So we talk about what we like about them, what we don't like, and how the overall filmmaking and story contributes to the themes and the messages that the filmmakers are trying to relay, if there are any. Because sometimes there just simply isn't.
I think we had the Hannas on for our Death of the Unicorn pod, and that was real fun. We had a good time hosting that one. Great example of there's not that much to say in that one, but
it was a full-on roast.
But you all still managed to come up with many, many things to say about it, even though there was no substance to that film. I love that episode. I thought it was fantastic. Everybody should go listen to it if they haven't. It's so good.
Oh. Well, this is going to be such a fun episode. We've been so excited. I have to say, the pre-recording energy was top notch before we hit record on this one. Sometimes people hop on and all right, let's record. This one was we're ready to go. So this is gonna be a good time. Sarah, IMDb summary for Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
Blacksmith Will Turner teams up with eccentric pirate captain Jack Sparrow to save Elizabeth Swan, the governor's daughter and his love, from Jack's former pirate allies, who are now undead.
Woo! IMDb coming out with the best summaries ever. Starting out with Will for some reason, and then ending and they're undead. Have fun,
By the way.
It's like an afterthought instead of the basic, the biggest plot point of the film.
Yeah. Also, why is this blacksmith the center of the plot? I'm low-key upset about it.
We can definitely jump into that one. I can't wait to talk about Orlando Bloom.
Okay, let's start off with our one-sentence summaries for Pirates of the Caribbean. Britt and Hanna, as our guests, do you want to share yours first?
Sure. I'll go first again. I guess.
All right.
This one, and I will say this one was the hardest one to come up with of all the ones I've been on so far. I was really racking my brain, and this is what I came up with. Pirates will go to great lengths to enjoy a tasty apple.
Bingo. Nailed it.
Thank you. It took me a really long time to come up with it, though. Basically, the entire time I was between when you asked me to be on this podcast to maybe 5 minutes ago, I was stressing.
I forgot about this bit, so I am completely unprepared. Give me just a quick
You got it. You got it, Hanna.
If you want, yes.
Yeah, circle back. Circle back.
Some of the best ones, honestly, just are ones that people are like, "This is what I feel."
Yes,
so that's what this is gonna end up being.
Yeah,
I support feelings, so please.
We do around here. Sarah, what's your one-sentence summary for Pirates?
Mine is: be careful how you parlay.
Yes,
so true.
Very good. Very good. Yes. My one sentence summary is a little long that it's a Disney princess skirts a Jane Austen marriage plot inside a supernatural horror zombie thriller flick, accompanied by a classically American cowboy and his trusty steed, the Black Pearl.
That should have been the summary on
Yes.
IMDb. That is so much more accurate than what they put up. That schlock on IMDb. Sheesh.
No mention of Will in there.
It's unnecessary. So.
Hey, but 10-year-old Hannah would have been Orlando Bloom mentions would have been extremely important to her. So
Fair.
I stand by it.
Totally fair.
Mm-hmm. Baby Orlando.
My younger self also understands that too.
Yes.
Yeah. I've grown quite a bit since then, however. Okay, I have one. This movie has got to have the best pirate and the worst pirates I've ever seen.
Absolutely. Yes.
I love it. Well done. So good. Okay. Before we give a spoiler alert, although it's been, many, many years since this movie's come out in 2003. But alas, we'll include a section here where we maybe share a little bit about our relationship to the Pirates franchise and high-level thoughts about this film. Particularly, I'm curious, this most recent watch, how did this hit for y'all? So let's go around, roundtable, share some of our just thoughts at a high level, and then we'll give a spoiler and then dive fully into the film for all of the people who somehow have not seen this movie yet. All these years later, nearly 2 decades
later. If you
later.
haven't, what are you doing? Go watch it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So relationship to the Pirates franchise, and then thoughts about this film, especially in the most recent rewatch.
Okay. I was obsessed with this movie as a child. The first time I saw it, I actually saw it in theaters. So this came out when I was 7 because it came out in 2003. So my mom was actually taking me and my younger brother to see some animated movie. And when we got to the theaters, my childhood best friend was with her family to see this movie. And I begged my mom to let me see it. And from there on, I was hooked. When I turned 10, I had a Pirates of the Caribbean birthday party where we went and saw the second one in theaters. And then we went back to my aunt's house and did a treasure hunt. And my mom made me a cake shaped like a pirate ship. It was so cute. So I am sincerely obsessed with this franchise. And I still am. I was rewatching it and I was like, I'm having so much fun. This movie has aged incredibly well. There is nothing in this movie watching it now as a grown adult where I'm like, nah, that's not funny anymore. I feel like it all still hits so well. It has some of the best choreography for any fight scenes. It has amazing music. Most of the performances are very solid. Overall, just a great time.
I am in a very similar boat. We're on the same pirate ship. It's the Black Pearl. We're just riding into the horizon on that we love this movie boat. So I was, I think, 12 or 13 when this came out. I was, I think it was a year before I went into high school, or I was going into high school that summer. I remember seeing this in the theater 3 times. I'm not even kidding you. 3 times. It was like Lord of the Rings. I just kept going back. And the first time, my mom didn't want it. She was like, well, I don't really want to bring you guys to the movies, but if you find the money, then I'll bring you. We scrounged through the couch cushions, through all the old purses, and my sister and my cousin and I paid for this in quarters. I don't even know why my mom told us to do that, because she's not the type of mom that cares about she would happily do it. I think she was just like, I don't want to deal with this right now. If you can figure it out yourselves, I'll bring you. I truly am obsessed with this film. My husband and I believe that it is the best blockbuster that has ever come out. And we think that we have a numbered list of things that we look for in other movies to put up against this. We one time jokingly came up with a podcast that was, is this blockbuster better than Pirates of the Caribbean? That's how much we loved this movie. I used to go to bed at night watching this when I was in high school because I was like, well, this will lull me to sleep. So it's probably the one film I've seen more than any other movie. It's like this and Rocky Horror are the two that I used to have on
Yes.
repeat.
Oh my
So
god, two incredible picks. I'm also a hoe for Rocky Horror.
oh gosh, my high school bedroom was Rocky Horror themed, so that's
Oh my
how
god.
obsessed. And my husband and I met doing the Rocky Horror Show. We were Ref and Magenta, but that's totally besides the point.
Oh
We
my
can talk
god,
about
I
that
love
later.
that so
I
much.
love it.
So I love this movie, and on this rewatch, I was like, yeah, still hits, still love it. Like I still genuinely think it's just the best time. So yeah, I have no shame in that. It's another like The Witch where I'm like, yeah, it's the best movie ever. So I don't know what to tell you.
You like absorb this movie into your being by osmosis. I feel
I'm
like.
literally wearing a Pirates of the Caribbean shirt right now. I got it
Oh,
at
I love
Disneyland in
it.
April when I went this last time because
The
I
obsession's
had
real.
to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. I'm real cool, you guys.
I think that's super cool.
Well, thank
No
you.
Yeah.
sarcasm needed.
Yeah. Sarah, what about you? Man, we have the right two people on this podcast, by
We
the
do.
way. Oh my gosh. For this movie, we picked the right folks. Sarah, what
Yeah.
are your
I'm
relationships?
gonna keep this train going. I also saw this when I think it came out when I was 12 or 13ish. I don't know when it came out in the year, but I was in that range, and I saw it multiple times in the theaters. My friends were obsessed with this. I was too, but like compared to my friends, I was not as obsessed as they were. Like it became their entire personality. I just loved it. But I have watched this movie so many times as a kid. Before we watched it to review on this pod, I watched it a few months back because we reviewed Gladiator. And there's a musical theme in Gladiator that's the same as in Pirates of the Caribbean. And so when I was watching Gladiator and that music would come on, then I would start singing the Pirates of the Caribbean version because I love pirates and I didn't love Gladiator. Sorry.
Spoiler
And
alert.
so then after I finished watching Gladiator, it was like, well, I have to watch Pirates of the Caribbean again. And I was kind of bracing myself a little bit because, when you watch something that you loved as like a teenager, it's usually kind of cringy or like it didn't
Yeah.
really age well. And you're like, oh my gosh, past self, my teenage self knew nothing. And so I was expecting that to happen with Pirates of the Caribbean. And it didn't because this movie freaking rocks. And like you guys, when I was rewatching it last night, I was having the best time. It's still so funny. It still looks great. The emotional beats come at the right time. The pacing is fantastic. The music is great. Like this movie rocks. And it's kind of amazing that it still looks as good and is as good of an experience as it is today as it was, 20 years ago. That is wild, but it is that good of a movie.
Yes, so true. I am jealous that y'all got to see this in theaters. I didn't see this in the theater for the first time. I don't remember my first time watching it, TBH. It must have been at some after school program waiting for my parents to pick me up after school because the teachers just throw on a movie and like, all right, keep the children quiet. But
And
so
this
I
movie
haven't
is
seen this
2.5
movie.
hours, so like
Right?
that's
Yeah,
fair.
crazy. And by that time, the parents are off work and time to pick up their children and get them out of their hair. So I haven't seen this movie probably in like years. I remember like moments, but I didn't remember the plot line. I didn't remember like some of the sequences. So watching it this time around was so thrilling. I'm shocked at how well it's aged on literally all fronts. Like sometimes the story's great, the humor's great, but then like visually you're like, oh, okay, this was made a long time ago. But every dimension, it still hits just as good. Honestly, it's better than a lot of blockbusters these days. We just finished reviewing Jurassic World Rebirth, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we've come a long way. Why don't they make movies like this anymore for us? So,
Yes.
man, this hits. There's a lot more like meat and substance in this movie too than I remembered. So I found myself like mulling on some of these themes that I was like, I did not pick up this when this as a child, but there's some good stuff in here too. So was shocked, pleasantly surprised and shocked at how much there is thematically that's woven into this like a really fun movie as well. So all of that was really great to see.
I am so jealous. Like, it's almost as if you got to experience this movie for the first time again.
Yes.
I'm genuinely so jealous. I would love to watch this film for the first time. I feel like it would be similar to
Yeah.
when I watched Akira for the first time and it just blew my mind. Like,
Mhm.
everything in this movie just hits really well. I mean, yeah, there are certain things that I find really cringe, especially like some of the dialogue. I'm like, oh, they probably could have, had another take of that one. But I forgive it because it's such a fun romp. And I really, like you said, why don't they make movies like this? That's one of my big issues. I'm like, why don't we have action adventure films with really awesome set pieces and fantastic costumes and makeup and an ensemble cast that you can actually understand where they're going and who they are, because they took the time to differentiate each of the pirates from one another. Like, it's
Mhm.
it's just amazing to me what they managed to do in 2003, and for it to still look as good as it does. Like, yeah, there's a couple moments where it's like, it's a little janky, but not in a way that makes me feel like I can't watch this film. It's more charming, right? It's like, oh, that's a
Mhm.
green screen and it's fine. We'll accept it. I just yeah, I why don't we get these films? Why
Mhm.
I want these films back. I want good sword fights and really pretty costumes and grimy people. Like,
Yeah.
give me that.
I feel like movies nowadays, at least like the big blockbusters, are just so lazy in comparison to this. Like you have these kinds of movies where they had to lay everything out so well ahead of time. Like especially this movie has so much choreography. Every minute of this movie is pre-planned and choreographed, and I feel like a lot of the time those decisions nowadays like aren't made until the last second or until post. Like for example, there's like pictures from one of the Marvel things of Samuel L. Jackson's gun being filmed as one thing, and then in post they totally change it because they clearly didn't have a vision of what they actually wanted. And I feel like that goes such a long way of actually just like having an idea of what the fuck you're doing before you do it.
So true. I mean,
Yeah,
another Oh, go. No.
I was just
I
gonna say the crutch of CGI and post, I feel like is almost just like carrying the weight of like all of the creative like juices and being absorbed by it, because you're right, you're so right, Hannah, like the planfulness of every shot, every like physical prop too that feels so tactile and lived in is so fun. And especially when it's in one of the like big action set pieces of the film with the two ships fighting each other, like you feel how much effort went into that scene to know like this piece of wood needs to fly in this direction at this moment, and having had planned that in advance, there's a clear vision to it. Yeah. Go ahead, Britt.
I th- I think that I think that like CGI is incredible and it's an incredible thing in film. Even in this, there are plenty of shots that are CGI and they work really well. I also think like in Mad Max Fury Road, there's a ton of CGI in that, and it looks amazing because they're marrying it with practical effects. Can you imagine if they hadn't actually built all of the ships? It would not work in this film at all. It would look so weird and nobody would be reacting to their environment. Can you imagine if they hadn't built the cave? Like if we didn't have an
Right?
actual cave,
Yeah.
I was like
Yeah.
watching the back behind the scenes, and it was one of the largest sound stages they had to build that set on. And can you imagine if they didn't have a fight on that and if people didn't understand where they were going? I keep on thinking about the Star Wars prequels as well, how there's a lot of Natalie Portman behind the scenes going, I don't understand what's happening. And they're like, don't worry, just it'll look great in post. And I feel like somehow that's where action movies have gone. And it makes me really sad because I feel like we're losing an art form, which is these practical effects and these practical locations. They really aid to making this feel like such a great and whole film.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we can tell when something is physically been created. I was amazed at the cave fight sequence because you know where everybody is in space. And I loved that. And you can see people in proximity to one another, and you feel like you are in the cave with them. And that you feel that obviously throughout the entire film, but I was so aware of it there. And like, you can't do that, like you were saying, if you don't actually have a physical set to interact with.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry. Somebody just rang my doorbell. So let me go let them in and I'll be right back. God damn it. I'm so sorry.
You're so fine. I'm like, oh, I hope it's something fun, like food delivery or an Amazon package from Prime Day that you've been really wanting.
I have gone so bananas in the last week with my Amazon orders, especially with moving. We're also adopting a kitten, like a feral baby. So I'm going like absolutely feral over like random cat products. So I'm pretty sure I've gotten like 10 things from Amazon in the last like 4 days, and I have like 10 more coming. I'm like, I need that cat toy and I need
Are you
this
getting a
rack for the new
cat?
apartment. Yeah, so we already have our current babies. We have an 11-year-old dog and we have a almost 16-year-old black cat. So we've been kind of hesitant to get any more, but moved into the 2-bedroom, and our friend found a feral kitten outside of the library he works at, and no one wants him, and we don't want him to be homeless or like be like their plan was just for him to be like a barn cat, which is like fine, but like I want him to have a nice indoor life. So we are picking him up on Monday.
You have to send me pictures. I'm obsessed with cats. They're my favorite thing in the world.
I am so excited. I will send all the pictures. He's a little black cat, so he's basically just like a mini of the cat we already have, who's also an all black cat. So
Yay.
it'd be so cute.
Yay.
I know.
Yeah, I know. When I see the like 35% off, I'm like, well, of course I need this item that I've been wanting but not buying.
100%.
Add to cart. Buy
like,
with one click.
The face cream I really like is on sale. Shit. Okay, I guess I'll buy 5. Yes, I have them.
Literally.
Oh, darn.
I'm literally making money off of this, you know?
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
We're
well.
good. Sorry, friends.
No, all good, all good. Maybe, honestly, let's give a spoiler alert because let's dive in fully, you know, and have full freedom to talk about any aspects of this movie. So, spoiler alert, this is, according to Britt, the best blockbuster of all time. So what are you doing? Go watch this movie and then
Go watch it. It is. It truly is. I have notes, okay? There are timestamps for why I think this is perfect. We've thought about this a lot. We've watched it way too many times.
I love it. Okay, so most recent rewatch. What are some things that like stood out to you that perhaps you didn't realize until this more recent rewatch, or maybe that you've seen in the past but it's kind of deepened? Some observations that have bubbled up, because I think it's always fascinating with our brains of present. What do we pick up on in these more recent watches?
I think that the character introductions are fantastic in this movie. One of the things that is on my long list of is this the best blockbuster ever is there an introduction better than Jack Sparrow's? And if there isn't, or on par, what's the point? I don't even want to watch it. But it's not just Jack's flashy entrance that's really good. Even when we're introduced to Elizabeth, we have that jump cut to her being older and her being stifled in the world where she is literally being put into a corset. And they don't even have to say like, I'm unhappy with my life and I would like to be an adventurer. It's all there in the scene when she's trying to please her father, but also uncomfortable with getting a marriage proposal from some guy who was an adult when she was a child. So that's fair. She should be uncomfortable with that proposal. To when she's on the ship, actually doing things and making choices. Like that is set up in the first scene that we see with Keira Knightley. And I find that really awesome and fascinating. So like I found myself really attached to Keira Knightley's character this time around, when usually that wasn't where I went before. I kind of was like, yeah, she's fine, she's great, but her character introduction was incredible. The Wooden Will is his character introduction is fine. Yeah, he's there, he's pretty, sure, it works out, and we care somewhat about him. But even the separate pirates that we're introduced to, and the separate fleets of pirates and naval officers that we'll see, they're all unique, and you can tell who everybody is. I'm just so impressed with their attention to detail on the ensemble and on how they really made me care about everybody in this movie. And I was just impressed rewatching it, going, good job. This pacing is quick. You didn't have very much time to establish any of this, and they establish it so well. And I think that's why it works.
I totally agree with that. I had like so many notes of in the beginning of like, Jack is so cool. Look at him immediately tricking people. So incredible. Jack getting these two to fight immediately so he can board the ship. Distraction King. His intro is just amazing. Like the comedic timing of it, but also the characterization that you're getting immediately is great. Like you were saying, Britt. Same. I also had the same feeling with like Elizabeth. Like you immediately know that she is a bad bitch.
Yes.
What I was going to say too about the characterization and how all of the different pirates like very clearly have their own distinct personality or thing, like some trait that sets them apart. I actually had the Pirates of the Caribbean edition of the Game of Life when I was younger to go along with the
So cool.
obsession. And so you would play as like a different character, but they even had like some of the random characters from the crew. So like Eyeball Guy and then his buddy who's also with the Umbrellas.
You're
Like
just
for a
having
long time,
jaundice.
yeah, for a long time I like knew their names and I was like, look at his stat card. Because like they do such a good job differentiating that even these two guys who like really don't have that much
Yeah.
dialogue have like such clear characterization and stand out.
And I think so, a lot of that does come back to the costuming and the makeup for this, because they when I was watching the behind the scenes, they talked about how they did storyboard everybody and they wanted to make sure that everyone was unique so that you could feel that they're a different person, that it's kind of like everybody had their own story. We could go off into any direction. The one I found so interesting was the guy with the bomb. Okay, that always is throwing the bombs everywhere, bomb daddy. He apparently they put dreads into his beard so that they could put wires in his beard so they could light incense so that his beard is always on fire. And I didn't notice that until I rewatched it again. And I went, he is always smoking. And it's because they're like, this is a really small detail, but it was important and integral for this character. And they did that with basically everybody. And V. Neal is a fantastic, she's a fantastic makeup artist and special effects artist. And the fact that she worked on this movie and a lot of the other Pirates of the Caribbean, which I'm sure we'll go into, but I'm not a fan of. This is my one and only. But she's so good. And listening to her discuss how she wanted to differentiate everybody, how she had like weathering artists come in to specifically weather all of the clothing so that it had looked like they'd been wearing them forever. Just all of the things that went into that part of the character so that the actor actually had the opportunity to make it their own without having to start from scratch, which I think is like, if you're a background actor, it's really hard when they go up to you and say like, all right, now do something, create a character for yourself. And you're like, I'm wearing a velour sweatsuit. I don't know what you want me to do with this, but I guess I'll try. And I appreciate that attention to detail in this. It truly, truly makes a difference. I'm waxing poetic about this, just like I did The Witch. How pathetic.
We
No,
love it
it's
right here.
great. And you're like so spot on that all of those little details, and there's so many little details like that littered throughout this film. All of those make such a big difference. Like we were talking about with like the CGI versus practical effects things, like we can pick up on those details. We might not like be able to maybe identify it in the moment, but like through osmosis, like how we can tell how all of these characters are different and we can differentiate their personalities. It's because of all of those little details. So the fact that for a like quote unquote kids movie, they invested so much time and effort and money into this is just kind of a miracle because it is of such high caliber. Like this is a very high quality movie. And I think part of it is because everybody was so detailed and they knew that these little pieces had to all fall into place for this to be as great as it is.
Totally agree.
I loved the cinematography in this film. I was so pleasantly impressed by it. I expected, just like a great action flick and a big blockbuster and your usual shots, a wide shot of the action. But the camera angles and the camera work is incredibly creative. There's one that I jotted down where Keira Knightley's character at one point is like whacking whacking one of the pirates with a frying pan, and we get a shot where like it looks like the frying pan hitting us as POV from the viewer in our faces, and I think a lot of the cinematography also allows that practical effects and the sets they build out really shine. So in the sequence where they're in the cave, there's so many wide shots where you get to see just the set shine, or in the ships fighting sequence, that big duel that the combat that they have, there's pieces of wood flying and people flying in on ropes that we silhouettes of, so we get to really feel the effort. It's almost like they're like, we put in a lot of time and effort into this, we're gonna make sure you feel it and you know it, and it is really able to shine. So I was pleasantly surprised by the cinematography in this film. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are some really fresh, creative ways to shoot a lot of these action sequences that are different just from a lot of what we've seen so far.
They just used levels so well. And
Mhm.
I particularly think of the shot where, again, Jack's coming in, which is like one of the, I think it's probably the best introduction of a character ever in cinema. It's like you would be hard pressed to find something that's cooler than that, because he's such a loser, but he's not at the same time. With just Jack Sparrow, Jesus Christ, he is. He has many many layers. But when it's showing just everybody working on the docks, and the guy notices the bucket, and then we just get the POV of everybody looking at the audience. So it immediately brings us to Jack's place. It's such a good way to establish that this is the character we're going to be living with. This is the character that you should be behind. So we want you to understand how voyeuristic this is right now, how it feels to have somebody watching you. And then Jack Sparrow comes in on his sinking ship with his chest puffed out so freaking much. Like they told him, look as big as possible, dude. And he was like, yeah, all right, I guess I will. And then he just effortlessly walks onto the dock. Like, what a great shot. It's iconic. It's perfect. No notes. I'd watch that any day of my life. God, it's just fun. It's just a fun flick. Man, if you haven't seen it, again, if you haven't seen it, go watch it because it'll just make you happy.
This movie really has some of the most iconic imagery. Like
Mhm.
when I think of any movie like on the ocean, my brain immediately goes to the dumb fucking canoe imagery when they're when they're doing their little sneaky sneak under the canoe where physics don't exist. Like
Yes, of course.
there's so many of these moments that are just so integral to like my film brain.
Well, and
They
that's
just look
even
so good.
It's well, and that I was actually thinking of that shot earlier because I think like this is such a fast-paced film, and I've said that a couple of times, but they still make time for levity and
Yeah.
for character building. And they could have absolutely cut the entire thing with the canoe, but there is nothing funnier than somebody walking past the canoe and then it just lifting up enough to see their little feet as they start walking into the water. It's so good. And it establishes these two characters as not only like thinking outside the box, but it's going to be a funny ride along the way. And they didn't have to do that. And I think they just nailed the tone. It's pitch perfect throughout, and they keep the same tone going. They never, and it's like silly, it's over the top. There are certain times where I'm like for me, something that doesn't work is when she says, you like pain, try wearing a corset. I'm like, that is the cringiest line I've ever heard in cinema, and I wish they had done something other than that. But it still works in the film. I don't love it, but that's okay. It's still funny and cheeky, and that's what they were trying to do with it. And I just, yeah, I'll take it, I guess.
So
I'll
good.
take the line if it means I get everything else.
We already kind of touched on this, but this movie also just has some incredible choreography. Like the fight scenes in this movie, the first scene of Will and Jack meeting might be my favorite fight choreography I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's up there with like The Princess Bride. choreo when he
Fair.
comes up the cliff. Like those two are like two of the most important fight moments in cinema for me. It's so good. I think it establishes their initial dynamic so well. It also establishes Orlando Bloom as maybe not the best actor, but that's okay. There's a moment, the moment where he's like, "So when I meet a pirate, I
I
can
can
kill
kill
it."
it.
I was like, "Shut up, Orlando, no." But
I-
like it does characterize them very well and shows just like again how witty Jack is too with some of the moves that they're employing in that scene. Oh, it just looks so good.
2 points to that. First off, that is one of our commandments, I guess is what I'm going to call them, for why this is the best blockbuster ever. How far in is your first big fight scene? And does it establish the characters as well as Will and Jack Sparrow? And if it doesn't, throw it out. It's not worth it, because you could watch that scene without any sound, without anything to it, without any context, and understand the power dynamics going back and forth. And that's so important in a fight scene. And I think that the fight choreography is unmatched in this. It's so fun and so great. And it's like the director understood that the fight choreographer needed to be able to tell the story through a fight, rather than just having people sit in the background and do some cool moves while they wait. Looking at you, Star Wars. But in this, I'm always so surprised by how much of the story is told through the fight choreo. When you look at something like Avengers Endgame, which is great and super fun, and like honestly such an incredible feat, I do not know in the final scene what is happening unless I'm being told by the characters themselves. There has to be exposition for me to understand who's fighting what and why they're fighting and who's winning. Whereas if you go to the final scene in the movie, or the final big fight in the movie, where the pirates walk under the water, in one of the best shots I've ever seen, because it's just so cool, and then they crawl up and you see the naval officers start to just lose. They're losing, but we're not told, "Oh my God, we're losing." They're literally just overpowered. And that is so important to be able to convey the change in a battle with just choreography, rather than people saying, "We didn't expect them to come over the side of the ship. Oh no, what should we do next?" They don't do that, right? We just see it happening. They show, they don't tell. And that's like the screenwriting 101.
Mhm.
And I'm so impressed with this fight choreo. Also, the fight choreographer was like, did 50 years of fight choreography. He was unmatched, so of course it was going to be good.
Of course. Yeah, I was really struck this rewatch of that cave sequence, but how it's also edited in with the boats and everything.
Yes.
And so I
So
was
good.
watching this and I was so amazed, because I was like, okay, there's so many characters at play here, and I know who is doing what and where everybody is and what side everyone is on. Like you were just saying, Britt, like I how did they do this with like so many different groups? I listed them all out in my notes and I was just like, how did they do this in a way that makes so much sense? So like I think it's all of the things that we've already talked about. It's the practical effects, it's understanding where people are in space in relation to one another, and then obviously just great writing and great fight choreography. But there's so much going on in each of those places, and you're able to follow it all. And that is absolutely incredible, because like you said, you watch some action movies today and you're like, I don't know who is who or what's going on or where we are. But man, this movie absolutely nails all of those pieces.
I also just thrown out the cave battle when they're moving between the moonlight to the spaces of darkness and they're switching from being skeletal to like a regular old people. So freaking cool. Like whoever had the idea to do that in that scene, give them a million bonuses, pay raise immediately.
Well, and it's established before too, like with them walking
Mhm.
under the water, and you think, "Oh, that was a cool effect," but they're probably never going to use it again because they used it here. But then it comes back. as soon as Jack gets the like sword through the chest, and you think, oh no, Jack Sparrow dies, and he goes, well, this is interesting, and he's just skeletal. And then they go back and forth. It's just brilliant. It's so fun. I want movies to be fun again. I really do. It's and and it's interesting too because I feel like pirate films, they're not popular. Pirate films are not fun. Like, I don't really know any other ones that made any great waves. Especially because, like, I don't know, pirate history is pretty intense. I did go on a deep dive of that, but I don't think we need to. We don't need to go into pirate history for this one. I promise that would just bring us all down. But the fact that they were able to kind of, against all odds, this movie rocks. It's about a Disney ride. It's about pirates. It's nothing about this should work, but they just had the right people with the right heart, which sounds so stupid, but people had to care about this in order to make this work. They weren't just trying to make a buck. They were trying to make a film that people would remember, and I think they do. I mean, goddamn, Johnny Depp got nominated for an Oscar. And rightfully so.
I know. He's so good. And I hate saying it. No
I
one
know.
will know Johnny Depp now,
Right.
but like, hot damn, he is so good in this.
I agree. And that is not us saying we're Johnny Depp fans, because
No.
can't be at all. But
No.
damn, he's good in this movie.
I also love Jeffrey Rush in
Yes.
the whole franchise. Barbossa is my favorite character as an adult. I think he is cool as fuck, but also the look that they give him is great. His performance is great. His comedic timing's amazing. This stereotypical pirate voice he's doing works so well. There's nothing about Barbossa that I don't love to death. And literally, when I saw the second one in theaters, where he comes back in like the very last shot of the movie, 10-year-old me shed a tear because I was so excited that my man was back.
Yes.
I just love him.
So
I agree 100%. I think Barbossa is amazing. And I think it's really fascinating that they chose to make the villain pirates so relatable. Like, literally,
Yeah.
what they want is to become human again. They want to be
Yeah.
able to feel, they want to be able to eat apples. That is such a relatable thing. Just why did we have to give them so many layers? I don't know, but I take it. Like, I accept. I do kind of feel sad at the end when they die. I'm like, oh damn. I mean, you're probably really bad people. We know you are, but also I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Barbossa, that you don't get to eat that apple that was just like in his hand or in his pocket. Ugh. Man, Barbossa.
Man was just hungry.
I mean, we all make bad decisions when we're hangry. Like,
100%.
it's so relatable. But I think one of my favorite things about Barbossa is just his knowledge of contract law. And I
Yes.
I
So
appreciate that in a villain, especially. And he's just like, nah, dude, you got to follow the rules. Like, we talked about this, we agreed on this. Here are the guidelines, and you didn't follow them. This is on you. And I'm like, I respect that. I like that.
He's so clever, so
He's
smart.
also
Yes.
unafraid to like break the rules too. You know what I mean? He's
Mhm.
like, yes, but you did not clarify what freed meant and when.
Yes.
Yes.
If I ever get arrested, I would love to hire Barbossa as my lawyer, please. Thank you.
100%.
Definitely.
He would definitely be in the like he would just be perfect. He'd be great at it. I think that's what's God, Barbosa is so interesting because he is so complicated, and
Mhm.
he knows the law in order to break it, and that's the way it should be. And I'm like, what was your background? It probably came up at some point in one of the movies, but I didn't watch them, so I don't know. So I can just pretend that I know where he got all of this knowledge from. Was he an attorney in a different life? Like, why would he be so aware of this? Was his father? Who knows?
I actually don't know if they establish any of his background, really. At least
Great.
not in the trilogy, which is the
Yes.
only ones that I cared to watch. They get into Jack's, like how he became a pirate, which is also super well, I guess it's a deleted scene.
Yeah.
How he officially became a pirate is because he refused to transfer slaves. So he says, people aren't cargo, mate. And that's also a shame that they took that out, which that's so Disney of them. But
Well,
alas.
and that's very fascinating. Just from this is the one small piece of pirate lore I'll actually bring into it. Quite a few pirates were escaped slaves or people who had been released, quote unquote, from being slaves. It was the only work that they could get, and that's a really fascinating thing that they chose not to bring in because that's actually history from piracy. So maybe they should have kept it in so that people could learn a little bit more. But whatever. They really wanted like some weird fights in those last two movies instead of pirate lore.
I think that's something that's really interesting about this movie is that there's no real villain, you know? Like it
Yeah.
kind of feels like everyone's just trying to do their best for whatever objective that they have. And when their objectives are aligned, great. If they're kind of clashing, then they do some fight sequences that we love. But like even Barbosa, his desire is to free his people. Like,
Yeah.
dang, I can get behind that. You know, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
the other version of this movie is like us rooting for Barbosa to free himself and all of his men to become human again. Like that's such a sympathetic cause, and
Yep.
I think especially watching this as an adult, like it's so easy for us to get like lulled into just like the hustle and grind of life. That like when he says he just wants to feel again, like he wants to feel joy, he wants to feel pain. I'm like, heck, me too. You know, like life
Right?
can be so I just think that's really fascinating too, watching this now with like an adult lens versus like obviously all of the spectacle of it all. There's a lot here that is more meaty than meets the eye.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons why people are so attached to it because you go back, there's actually more to it than just it being a fun romp, right? These characters have have depth. There's interesting dynamics between them. There's interesting dynamics between Barbosa and Jack. Like what is the relationship there? It's so intense. And there's enough like subtext in this that we can infer whatever we would like out of it. It's not one of those films where you watch it and you think that was fun, but there's nothing underneath that surface, so I'm good. I don't need to watch it again. You get something else out of it every time, and that's because they were intentional with what they were doing. In addition to making just a fucking fun time, they they wanted it to be intentional and fun. Or if they didn't, wow, they did a really good job of accidentally stumbling into something that people can really dive into, you know?
Yeah. I don't know that you can stumble into something that's as good as this, like across this many levels, 20 plus years
Years.
later. You know,
Yeah.
like you have to be very deliberate to make a movie that has aged this well.
Yes.
I don't think you make this by accident, but that would be wild if they did, but that
Right?
seems very implausible.
Well, it's pretty funny because I don't feel like Gore Verbinski has done anything better than this in his catalog. I mean, I am a stan for the Ring one remake 100%. It is a solid 5-star film for me, but I understand I am very much in the minority there. But you know, this is a solid 5-star film as well, but I think this is way better than The Ring. And after this, I was looking back through the things that he's done, and nothing has come close to the level of Pirates of the Caribbean. This is kind of like his masterpiece. And I wonder what was it? Was it just like the perfect storm of great producer, great cast, great production? Like is that what it was? Like he just happened to be surrounded by the right people to make this incredible movie that I think people will probably continue to talk about after we talk about it, you know? It's what was it? What was it? Cuz he hasn't done it again.
Well, and I think it's also like all the money too
Oh, yeah.
attached with something like this. And I think it really did come out at like just the right time. I don't know. Like, I don't think that this movie would have been as good if it had been made a few years earlier or a few years later. Like, it's
Yeah.
this kind of like sweet spot that I think it could have only been made this good in 2003. You know, I think because like the way that technology progresses, they wouldn't have, like, it would have been too CGI heavy. And then any earlier, then they wouldn't have been able to make some of those underwater effects that are as cool as they are. So I think it really, like, is kind of a minor miracle that this happened, but I think timing is a big piece of it.
Totally.
There's also this like soft, squishy thing we often say around like this movie has a lot of heart, and I like it. We kind of all know what it means, but we don't really know how to define it. But there's this like optimism in this movie that I think is also like really heartwarming and probably timeless. This version of this movie, if it were made like in the 2020s onwards, would be so cynical and like so like dark and gritty, and there's just like not what we want to go back to and revisit time and time again. And so there's like a level of cynicism that I feel like we've seen in action movies as of late that I think is also absent from this movie, that can lean into kind of believing the best in everyone, even if it's not this like the 80s version of it where like everyone is like kind of these like simplistic archetypes. But even Norrington, like a side character, has this little itty bitty moment of growth. Like he doesn't stomp away at the end. He's kind of just like, all right, she doesn't really love me that much. That's fine. I'm gonna set her free, you know? And that hopefulness in this movie and kind of the optimism that's undergirded this whole thing, I think is also just like so heartwarming too.
Yeah, absolutely. It does. This movie does have a lot of heart. And I think that's what we all can grasp onto. Also, if it were made nowadays, it would be so dark in that the lighting would be wild. I was so happy to see the sun and colors and just it's beautiful to look at, and the dark scenes are dark because they should be, not just because they color wash the whole thing.
And they're
I'm
not
like,
too dark that you can't see anything, which happens so consistently anymore.
Exactly, especially in action movies. For some reason, it's like, why are we doing this? Who decided that we want to be devoid of all color? Because color is beautiful, color is wonderful, and it makes us happy. So
That Game of Thrones episode just like ruined cinema forever.
that
episode,
Game of Thrones episode,
you can't see anything.
You can't see a single thing. We were like trying to put the
color brightness up. Yeah, I'm like,
really,
brightness,
what is happening?
Please. Horrible.
It was the worst. And it's like, you already did an incredible episode on the wall, and then we have this and we can't see anything. How dare you?
They were like, well, it's supposed to be at night. Bitch, I know. How many movies have been at night in moonlight that we can see, ergo Pirates of the Caribbean in 2003?
Yes. They just didn't have the heart. They didn't have the Pirates of the Caribbean heart.
They really didn't.
I feel like that's what I'm going to look for now in movies. Does this have heart, or does it have Pirates of the Caribbean heart? Because if it has Pirates of the Caribbean heart, that's like 5-star, right?
Yeah.
That is perfect.
Yeah.
So we have a new entry to your list.
Yes.
We have to judge the level of heart.
Yeah, 100%.
But not too much, which is also part of this too. Like it's got heart, but it's also not like overly cheesy, which can also be a thing that we do now, which is like I don't know, recent Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. It's just like so cheesy that you're like, I don't buy it. You know, it's like it hits the right note somehow, and it's so satisfying and doesn't stray too much on like super cynicism, jaded, the world sucks, or like everybody is a good guy. Like, no. It strikes this like really perfect balance. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but we know when we feel it, and we know when it's right.
Yeah. There are even some lines where like writing them down and rereading them, I'm like, oh, that's super corny. But like the context of it in the film and the delivery of it and who is saying it makes it work. Like Jack says to Will at one point, I believe it's to Will, not all treasure is silver and gold, mate.
Yes.
Like that is, because he's talking about getting his love. Like that's so sweet, but like that could be so corny and cheesy, and it like objectively is, but in the context of the film and the way he's delivering it to this character and encouraging him to like make sure he's going after his love, like it's perfect.
Yeah.
And the slow burn of their relationship throughout, it never takes precedence over the things that are happening, the things that are like, we're being shot at by cannonballs. You know, they don't just like go off in the corner and make out, which, like, whatever if they did, like, you do you in that situation. It might make you happy. But I appreciate the fact that they let it be an actual slow burn romance. As a romantasy reader, I really appreciated that going back to it now. And I think, like, honestly, even though like the shit I gave, Will Turner, because Orlando Bloom is just, he's just so wooden in this. I really like their relationship. I think it's cute, and there's something like nice about it. And I love the fact that at the end she chooses him, and it ends with them having like their first like on-screen kiss. I'm like, this is so nice. Oh my gosh, they're adorable. And maybe that's just like nostalgia for me, but I think they do a really good job with their relationship throughout, because it's not the focal, it's a focus, but it's not the focal point.
Well, and you see them like interacting throughout too. So it's not like, oh, they have a crush and then, oh, now they're together.
Yeah.
But you see them interacting in these different contexts, and you see like his care for her, and then over the course of the film you see that she actually cares for him too. Then you see them like working together. You see the lengths that they will go to like help one another. Like, so you have all of these different moments of them interacting, not in a romantic way, but just in a, they're just two people that are in this situation together and they have to try and get out of it. And I think that all builds up to that ending and makes that as satisfying as it is in the end.
Well, I love that this film ends with the big romantic gesture, which is Turner going to save his dude. Like, it's not him going to save his girl, it's him going to save his best friend that he's built this bond with. And so the film understands that, like, yes, you've experienced this emotional growth with these two, and we haven't gotten that big cathartic like moment for them. So that's going to be the denouement sequence of this film. Is actually was far like moved my heartstrings more than like the little kiss at the ending. Is like Will being like, I will sacrifice myself for this man that I believe is good and deserves to live. It's like
the best love is homies loving their homies.
Yes.
Yes.
The purest form of love, really.
Truly.
Truly.
Men showing their emotions is my favorite.
Oh yeah, I mean that is a thing. These men show their emotions multiple times throughout this. It's kind of incredible. Like, yes, they're very toxic, but that's okay. Like, they're complicated characters, and they aren't just sitting there going like, I must be so stoic in everything I do. Other than Norrington, who is in his own right a toxic British man. Like, of course he's super stoic. So that's just what they do. And and so I feel like they really allow everybody, but in particular men, to show emotions in this. And that's like fucking cool.
Yeah.
It's great to watch.
For 2003 too.
Yes.
For the times.
I don't want to see a 2025 version of this. I really don't.
No, definitely not. I also love, like, along that similar vein, is we see our protagonist, Jack Sparrow, of course.
Yes.
In case it wasn't clear enough. We see Jack multiple times running away. And I love that in a protagonist too, especially in like an action adventure film. There are some times when it is appropriate to run away. And I love that we get to see that from him. He's not always charging into battle, but sometimes he knows when he needs to retreat. So as far as non-toxic masculinity tropes, I think that that's a really, really good one.
Agreed. 100%. Like, you got to retreat sometimes. It's healthy to do that. Can't win every battle. Self-preservation.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. How do you guys feel about the sequels? And I know we're not talking about the sequels in this, like, in general, but in general, have you watched them? And what are your opinions? Hannah, I already see your face.
I like the trilogy, and I like to pretend that the other two don't exist.
Fair.
The fourth one is one of the most boring movies I've ever seen and does a complete character assassination of my man Barbossa. So
is that the one with the mermaids?
Yes. The
Okay.
mermaids are cool. And then nothing else in that movie's cool, in my opinion. And then the fifth one is just like, I've seen it once in theaters and it was just like this weird hot garbage that I don't recall enough to talk about really beyond that. But I think I like the trilogy. I think this one is the clear standout best film. The other two get weird and messy, especially
Yeah.
like the third one with Jack and the crabs and whatever. Like it just jumps the shark a few times way too far. But I do think as a trilogy, it is really solid, even if they get really goofy. Like they are still fun blockbusters that I like. If they re-showed all of them in theaters, I would pay for all of them.
I love it. I
Favorite.
I I really struggle with the two with this. I want to really like the trilogy, but my biggest issue is that they feel like completely different films, and I think part of that is that this was a standalone film and then they're like, oh, we're going to get a sequel, so we might as well make it a trilogy. So in the second and third movie they were trying to tie back to a film that was just so completely outside of what they were going for, where I wish that they had done the Indiana Jones route where they had just had three separate films and been like, that's your trilogy and they're three separate stories, have fun, instead of trying to somehow make them all work together as one, which I think is the Lord of the Rings effect, where they're like, well, everybody loves Lord of the Rings, which no shade to Lord of the Rings. I think it's fucking perfect. So I love it so much. But like, those are supposed to be a trilogy. This wasn't necessarily supposed to be one. So I'm disappointed that first off, they wrote Jack as if he was Johnny Depp instead of trying to write him as like a rock star and letting Johnny Depp do whatever he wants with the character. And also that they really didn't know where to go with it. And
Mm-mm.
so I just try to not think about those and think of this as a single entity by itself.
The worst is the Jack Sparrow character assassination
It's
because
so bad.
he gets progressively dumber, and
Yeah.
like yes,
Yeah.
Jack is silly and does goofy shit, but he's very clever and intentional with what he's doing for the most part. So I feel like they took the wrong thing away from the first one
Mm-hmm.
and what people liked from the character, and so they wrote him dumber and dumber and dumber, and by the time you get to whatever the fuck the fifth one was, he's literally like stoned or trashed somewhere. Like he is just like a non-entity in anything. So yeah, I think they just like misunderstood, I think, what people loved about some of it. Some of it I think they got right, with the obviously eventually letting Will and Elizabeth get together and then ripping them apart. I love, honestly.
I mean, yeah, tragedy is great in
Yeah.
movies.
And the wheel choreography from the second one, as dumb as
Oh,
that is, it looks so good. It's so
it's
fun.
fun.
And Davy Jones as a character, as much as that gets kind of weird, he looks so good and the performance is so
And it's
good.
Bill Nye, so you
Like
can't
he's
go wrong with
amazing.
Bill Nye.
And the Maelstrom like looks really fucking good. The CGI all looks great. So there are things about it that, even though I think it's considerably worse, I still have enough fun that I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna watch all of the only three that exist now.
Yeah, the other two, don't even think about them. We throw them out.
We really do.
Have either of you two watched them?
I have watched them. I don't remember any of what happens in them other
You're
than
good.
a big giant like octopus man. And
Yes.
I also was surprised watching this movie how competent Jack Sparrow is, because in my mind and impression, he's this like zany court jester dude and like just kind of like palling around. And he's so good in this one.
He's so
And
clever.
yeah. And I'm like, I had a whole thought train around like, what is it about Jack Sparrow that makes him so charismatic in this movie? And it's that like fearlessly bold irreverence that he has while also being very clever. And I think we like aspirationally love to see that, like someone that sticks to the man but then also can get it done. And I feel like in the later movies, like my impression of him going to this movie was him just being kind of the fool, the archetype of the fool, and played for jokes. But he's pivotal in this, and he's incredibly good at what he does. And so that's why, that was a gap that I was like, oh, this is not the Jack Sparrow that I remember.
It's not the Jack Sparrow they give us. That's for sure.
What about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I have seen 2 and 3. I haven't watched them for many, many years. So it was actually like after I watched this, I was like, wait, how many Pirates movies are there? And was like looking through and like, okay, which ones of these have I seen? So yeah, 2 and 3 for sure. Don't remember them super well. I could have sworn that I had watched number 4, but I looked at like images from it and I was like, this does not look familiar. So I have not watched number 4, and I didn't realize that there was a 5th one. So that was news to me last night when I discovered that there was a movie number 5. So
that is a-okay.
Totally fine.
It barely exists. It shouldn't exist. It's a hot mess.
I think that's the one with Barbossa's daughter.
Yes, which is also like, I don't need that. I like the guy who's just, you better start believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one, scaring the shit out of her, drinking a bottle of wine, the cork flowing through his skeleton. That is the one that's the guy I want. I don't want Father Barbossa. I don't want emotional, sentimental Barbossa.
We
just don't need it.
We don't want Father Barbossa. Like, that's how it goes. We don't need that in our lives at all.
And whoever thought we did need that needs to be fired.
I thought you were going to say flayed, and I was like, fair, yeah. Flay them.
I was trying to decide what level of cruel I was going to go with.
Franchise, they just love to do these like family affairs. I'm so over it. I'm so sick of it. Every single franchise is just like everyone's related to everyone and it's dysfunctional, but everyone is a family member of someone and is inherited from something. And then grandpa, father, mother all come into the picture at some point, just like make an appearance.
It's so
you guys
lazy.
Remember when The Last Jedi tried to be like, no, she's not related to anyone. And then they went and they said, just kidding.
Yeah.
Somehow Palpatine returned. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rian Johnson, as much as people hate that movie, the man understood. The man got something right for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot in that whole thing, though, where like they didn't know where they wanted to go with it, so they let Rian Johnson do what he wanted to do, and then they're like, the fans didn't like it. Let's make it for the fans then, I guess. And they basically went on Reddit and were like, what's the biggest fan theory on Reddit? I guess we'll bring Palpatine back. Sorry, spoilers for those films. I guess we can cut it, but I don't think anybody's really going to care that much.
Yeah, that whole trilogy is absolutely bananas. Justice for Rian Johnson, who made the prettiest looking Star Wars movie, and I will stand by that forever.
It was really pretty. I will give it that. I didn't love it, but...
And that's fine, and I know why people don't like it, but it's gorgeous, and
it is.
It was unique, so I liked it.
And they also have little crystal foxes, so like...
Yeah.
I'm happy. I have a fox tattoo now because I love foxes so much. So
also, like really the sexual tension between Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley without touching.
Yes.
Also, Adam Driver's pants.
The pants,
and they're up to his nipples.
The pants are iconic. Iconic fashion choices were made. Thank you, Ryan, for giving us the pants.
We can cut this, but I did a burlesque with my friend, and we were I was Han Solo and she was Kylo Ren.
That's so good.
And we had like multiple songs in it, but she did I'm Just Kylo Ren to I'm Just Ken. And then we ended up doing we did a lot of stuff, but at one point our big reveal was that we both had really high-waisted pants.
That's so funny.
And that was like how we were the same because we had high-waisted pants. We don't think anybody else got it, but we were really, really proud of ourselves. It was the dumbest dance because it ended in a ribbon dance, but it was great.
That sounds amazing.
I love that. We're keeping that in.
I just had to bring it up.
Oh, so good. So good. We're keeping that in for sure. Okay. Any other last thoughts about Pirates of the Caribbean? So we end this episode maybe on not a Star Wars movie. Note. Yeah.
Exactly.
Franchises though, that's a connection point. There we go. Any other last takes before we hit them all?
I just don't think there's a better blockbuster than this. I really, especially for like a B movie blockbuster, right? Like something that's just kind of schlocky fun. But even I don't even think it is schlocky fun. I think it's genuinely a good flick and it's a fun time. And if you don't enjoy yourself while watching this movie, I think maybe you need to watch it again when you're in a better mood.
Yeah,
Correct.
no, I agree. I think it's an all-time great blockbuster. I was trying to think of like what my favorites were, and I was trying to think of things from my lifetime, and from my lifetime, it's like this and Spider-Man 2 for me, both of which I saw in theaters, so like they mean something to me. But
The other one for me is The Mummy.
okay, solid.
Sexiest people ever in that movie. I think every
True.
single person is attractive in The Mummy. So, like, I'll watch it anytime.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yeah, if you don't enjoy this movie and you're not having fun, I think you need to see if you have a medallion that you need to return back, because you probably need to feel something in your life.
Yes.
Like you maybe need to find this cave and return something to it.
Agree 100%.
Love it. All right. Well, this was our review and discussion of Pirates of the Caribbean, the first one of the franchise that doesn't exist to us. This is the one and only. You can find it available to stream, I believe, on Disney Plus. Yes. All right. Well, thank you for listening to this week's episode of Movies and Us, and a big thank you to you both, Britt and Hanna, Pirates of the Caribbean super fans.
Yeah, we really are.
This is so fun.
Fuck yeah. Go Hanna. High five.
High five.
Well, I love that we started the episode with like, we need you to know I had a pirate-themed birthday party and I've watched this falling asleep. So like, this is our backing, you know? Like, come at us.
Yeah.
So good. So
I think
good.
we could like have a whole, like at Comic-Con, have a whole thing where we're like, this is why Pirate's incredible. And we would just show up without any notes and be like, no, we're fine. We know the whole thing.
Yeah.
We can do this.
I literally was watching it just like quoting everything
Same.
to myself.
Me
I was
too.
watching with a friend who has seen the movie a couple times, but certainly less than I have over my lifetime. And I'm sitting there just like whispering every joke to myself. Like,
No, I was doing the same thing, and like, other than watching it again a few months ago, it's been many years, but like this dialogue is ingrained in me. This is never leaving me because it is that good. It's iconic. It's so fun.
Yeah. So good. Well, Britt and Hanna, where can people find more of you, connect with you on the interwebs?
I am, my personal accounts are under Britsby Hobnob on Letterboxd, on Twitter, or X, I guess, on Instagram. We also have a 1001 by 1 TikTok now. We have X, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, though, like, honestly, we're not really on that, but we do post sometimes. We're in our 6th season, so please come and listen to us. 1001 by 1. We just released episodes on Solo, or 120 Days of Sodom. Really pleasant, super fun episode. The Wrestler in Wuthering Heights coming up. We're doing our draft episode where we draft the next season. The Exorcist, and we're going to be doing another round with the lovely ladies here, Jen and Sarah from Movies and Us, which I'm so excited about. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for you guys to get on the pod. But yeah, so come find us. We're nice.
well, I think my husband and I are also nice. You can find us at 4 Hour with the Hannas. Episodes are available wherever you can find podcasts and on YouTube. And then we're also on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at 4 Hour with the Hannas. We post a lot on TikTok and YouTube Shorts, so definitely find us there.
And
they have really
content.
fun, like, snippy, punchy TikToks that they do of like, tell me your hot take on the scariest movie that is not that scary. You know? So
we've definitely found the hot take niche is working very well, and we will continue doing that.
Love
to have opinions or fight with you on your opinions about it.
Oh my god, the amount of mean comments I get that like bring me joy because they hate my opinion so much is so funny.
It's so good.
I wish I could do that. If I just cry. I can't. I'm not built for it.
This is edit this out, but I like got a couple like we've had a few that like insult our appearance, and I'm like, you've crossed a line. But tell me my opinion sucks, and I don't care because my opinion's good and your opinion sucks actually. So like, don't care about that. I've been called recently Timu Mia Goth, and I was like, didn't know I looked like her at all. Don't know if that's how much of an insult that is. Like, I don't know if she's that pretty. Like, I don't know.
She's Scream Queen Supreme, so like, thank you. But also, that's when you screenshot that shit and you say, hey, no, we don't do this.
One person told Matt he needed to donate some of his eyebrows to me.
What?
It was insane. And I was like, okay, I know I have really light eyebrows and I don't have the eyebrows that are on trend right now, but when it goes back to being thinner eyebrows is the trend, I fucking nailed it, bitch, so shut up. It was the funniest comment I've ever gotten, and as much as at first I was like offended for like a second, I was like, that's so fucking funny, man. Like, I can't even be mad at that.
Oh my god.
Like, I would never say it, but like, also, sure.
Gotta respect the like craft, you know? Versus the ones that are like, you're stupid. And you're like, well, yeah, at least a little creative.
Right? It's like, sure, I am. Why do you think I'm stupid? I've said many stupid things, but maybe let me know what I said, and then I can tell you you're fucking wrong, bitch. Like, come on.
Well, we're going to include them in the show notes. Go leave wonderful, nice things with lots of Pirates of the Caribbean heart on both of your contests. We will include that in the show notes, so go follow the both of them. They're amazing and just putting out some really great content, so we love to see it. All right, well, our name, Movies and Us, sums it up. We're all about movies and the powerful ways we can connect with each other and the world around us. This podcast is about all of us and our shared stories, so everyone is welcome here, and we're so glad you spent time with us today. You can subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you tune to your favorite shows. Drop us a rating and review letting us know your favorite scene from Pirates. You can connect with us on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at Movies and Us Pod, or email us at moviesandUsPod@gmail.com. Check out our website, andusmedia.co, for the latest on Movies and Us and our other podcast, TV and Us. We will be back next week with a new film review. We hope you have an amazing week in the meantime, and we'll see y'all again very soon.